Welcome to Brainish English Stories.
Chapter 1: The Unwanted Proposal. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Lily. She was a vibrant and ambitious 25-year-old who had dreams as vast as the ocean. Unfortunately, her parents had different plans for her. They wanted her to marry a wealthy man named Mr. Edwards, who was twice her age, at 50 years old. However, Lily's heart belonged to someone else. Lily had fallen in love with a charming young man named Ethan, who was just 28 years old. They had met at a local cafe, where they would often spend hours talking, laughing, and sharing their dreams. They had created a special bond, and Lily couldn't imagine her life without him. But when Lily's parents discovered her love for Ethan, they were shocked and disapproved of the relationship. They believed that marrying a rich man like Mr. Edwards would secure Lily's future and bring prosperity to their family. Lily's parents insisted that she forget about Ethan and accept their decision. Chapter 2: The Unfortunate Compromise. Although Lily was deeply saddened by her parents' decision, she felt trapped and obliged to obey them. With a heavy heart, she agreed to marry Mr. Edwards, hoping that she would find happiness in her parents' choice. The glittering jewels and luxurious clothes that awaited her seemed like a small consolation. On the day of the wedding, the atmosphere was filled with grandeur and festivity. The guests were mesmerized by the lavish decorations and extravagant feast. Lily, however, was far from joyful. She couldn't help but think about Ethan and the life they could have had together. The ceremony began, and Lily and Mr. Edwards signed their marriage certificate. Lily was now Mr. Edwards's wife. But then suddenly a commotion took over the room. Mr. Edwards collapsed to the floor, clutching his chest. Panic spread like wildfire, and people whispered that he had suffered a heart attack. News quickly spread that he had passed away. Chapter 3: Unexpected Turns. The news of Mr. Edwards' alleged death shocked everyone, especially Lily. She was overwhelmed with mixed emotions. On one hand, she felt guilty for secretly wishing for a way out of the marriage. On the other hand, a glimmer of hope sparked within her heart, knowing that she might have a chance to be with Ethan. In the midst of the chaos, Lily's parents approached her with a surprising proposition. They suggested that she marry Ethan instead, as they had come to realize the depth of their daughter's love for him. Overjoyed by this unexpected turn of events, Lily eagerly agreed. On the same day, amidst the confusion and whispers of the recent events, Lily and Ethan had a simple yet heartfelt wedding ceremony. They exchanged vows, promising to love and support each other through thick and thin. It seemed like a dream come true for Lily, who finally felt that her true love had triumphed. However, just as Lily and Ethan were about to celebrate their newfound happiness, an astonishing revelation unfolded. Mr. Edwards, who was presumed dead, made a dramatic return. He had survived the heart attack and was determined to reclaim his place as Lily's husband. Confusion and shock swept through the room as Mr. Edwards confronted Lily, Ethan, and her parents. Lily's parents were torn between their daughter's happiness and their sense of duty. Mr. Edwards, though older and weakened, demanded that Lily fulfill her marital commitment to him. Caught in a whirlwind of emotions and torn between the two men in her life, Lily found herself at a crossroads. She had to make a decision that would shape her future. Would she honor the marriage vows she made with Ethan, or would she succumb to the pressure and fulfill her obligations towards Mr. Edwards? Chapter 4: A Twist of Fate. Lily stood before the perplexed crowd, her heart heavy with the weight of her decision. Mr. Edwards, filled with disappointment and hurt, saw an opportunity to regain control over the situation. "Enough of this nonsense!" Mr. Edwards exclaimed, his voice trembling with anger. "Lily, you are my wife, and I demand that you come with me. If you refuse, I will not hesitate to file a legal case against you and your lover." Lily's heart sank, torn between her love for Ethan and the fear of legal consequences. In that moment, she made a difficult choice. She turned to Ethan, her eyes filled with sadness and regret. "Ethan, I love you with all my heart, but I cannot bear the burden of legal battles and the uncertainty it brings," Lily said, her voice trembling. "For now, I will go with Mr. Edwards, but please understand that my heart will always belong to you." Ethan, though devastated by Lily's decision, respected her strength and sacrifice. He held her hand tightly, silently promising to wait for her and fight for their love. As Lily and Mr. Edwards left the wedding venue, their path forward seemed uncertain. However, fate had a different plan in store for them. Just as they arrived at Mr. Edwards' residence, Lily was suddenly gripped by a severe panic attack, gasping for breath and clutching her chest. Mr. Edwards, shocked and concerned for Lily's well-being, quickly abandoned his demands and rushed her to the hospital. In that moment, he realized the futility of forcing someone into a loveless marriage. He understood that love cannot be controlled or compelled. Days turned into weeks as Lily fought her way back to health, supported by a caring medical team and her concerned parents. During her recovery, Lily reflected upon the events that had transpired and the immense sacrifices she had made. One day, while sitting by Lily's bedside, Mr. Edwards spoke softly, his voice filled with remorse and understanding. "Lily, I have come to realize that forcing someone into a marriage against their will only leads to pain and suffering. I release you from any obligations and promises we made. It is clear that your heart belongs to another." Lily, still weak but filled with gratitude, managed a faint smile. She had longed for this acceptance from Mr. Edwards, knowing that true happiness could only be found with Ethan. She whispered her thanks, assuring Mr. Edwards that she bore no ill will towards him. After Lily's complete recovery, she and Ethan were finally given a second chance at love. Surrounded by their loved ones, they pledged their commitment to one another in a heartfelt ceremony. This time, their union was not marred by societal expectations or external pressures.